The NFL preview series rolls on as I look at all 32 teams in the run up to the kickoff of the 2024 NFL season on Thursday, September 5th. Today, it is the New Orleans Saints who finished 9-8 and were a strong second in the NFC South last season, just missing out on the playoffs thanks to a tiebreaker. This offseason, they saw a handful of veterans depart. That included releasing longtime receiver Michael Thomas. Quarterback Jameis Winston headed out, so did guard Andrews Pete and defensive lineman PJ Mustipher and Malcolm Roach. They brought in a handful of veterans, including defensive end Chase Young, who should bolster the pass rush, and linebacker Willie Gay Jr. from the Chiefs. They also got veteran receiver Cedric Wilson in the draft. They added Talisi Fuaga to bolster their offensive line, and they also brought in Kool-Aid McKinstry to bolster the secondary. The most interesting pick they used was a day 3 pick to grab quarterback prospect Spencer Rattler. Rattler, in his first few seasons with Oklahoma, transferred then to South Carolina. In 2 seasons with Carolina, he threw for 6,212 yards and 37 touchdowns. Could he be a challenger to Derek Carr? Maybe in the future, but I don't know if he's a challenge right at the outset. Let's turn to fantasy. It should be Derek Carr's team again in 2024, but if the Saints struggle, I wouldn't be shocked to see Rattler maybe get 1 or 2 games at the end of the season, kind of similar to what happened with Jarrett Stidham and Russell Wilson in Denver last year. Carr is a borderline quarterback 2 for me, but I feel better as a quarterback 3. As I said, I'm not 100% sure he completes the season. And I am not really high on the Saints team in general. Probably the most intriguing places for fantasy is the backfield. They return Alvin Kamara. He was running back 11 in 2023, despite missing a couple of games to start the season. I like him in the RB2 range in 2024. I think a bigger question is whether Jamal Williams and or Kendre Miller step up in 2024 after both missed time a year ago. Williams is the veteran. I think he could be more of a red zone threat. I liked Miller to finish a little higher and maybe have some flex value. We're hearing mixed messages from the coaching staff this offseason. That is going to be something to watch. In the passing game, it's Chris Olave. He was wide receiver 16 in 2023. I think he'll finish in the wide receiver 2 range again. Beyond Olave, there aren't a ton of options in fantasy. Second-year receiver A.T. Perry profiles to have a bigger role. They have the veteran Cedric Wilson, but Rashid Shaheed is back. He also usually has some special teams value at tight end. They have Jawan Johnson, but he's recovering from injury. They have Taysom Hill, who's kind of a Swiss Army knife. He actually is a sleeper for me. He finished as tight end 12 in 2023. So Hill is a guy I would roster because he has that kind of multi-positional value. I like Rashid Shaheed as a wide receiver 4, similar to where he finished in 2023. And that's about it for me when it comes to the Saints in fantasy. Saints are an interesting team. I think that this could be a year where they're on the cusp of a lot of changes. There was rumblings about whether they would make a change at quarterback, move on from Carr after his first year in with the Saints. Same with head coach Dennis Allen. I think this is a team that probably ends up in the 6 to 8 win range, out of the playoffs, and will probably be asking themselves some hard questions this offseason. And I suspect some more substantive changes as we